Hello, everybody, and welcome to the official bracket reveal for the SVO Grand Finals for 2025. I'm here with my co-host, Different Fight, and I'm as always, Ignideus. Hello, everybody. Chris, today we're going to be learning more about the 8 players who, through the past couple of months, through the SVO qualifier series, made it to be able to compete in Singapore for the Grand Finals. Are you excited to learn more about these players today?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been watching them play throughout, ever since Worlds Beyond came out. It's been a few
Mm-hmm.
months, and we've had what 4 qualifiers if you don't include the kickoff, and
Mm-hmm.
lots of emotional moments, lots of definitely cool storylines building up already with just a few months into the game. And these players are now going to be facing off against each other in Singapore in just 2 weeks' time. And there's a lot that they're playing for. So it's going to be a very exciting time. And so some of you tuning in might be thinking, what is this stream for, right? What are we actually going to be doing here? Well, today we have a bracket of the players that qualified, but who plays against who has not been determined yet. And so today you're going to actually be seeing the draw of the bracket and who gets to face against each other. And the lovely staff over at production have actually given us a lovely little insight into the players with some interviews as well that we'll get to take a look at as well. But of course, for those of you that haven't been keeping up with the SVO, there's a lot of prizing on the line, right, Igni?
Yeah, that's right. So the SVO Grand Finals is going to be happening, like we said, on location in Singapore. The players are going to be flown out there on October 25th to 26th, so in a very short amount of time. The tournament has a total of a 10,000 US dollar prize pool, which I don't know if you've done your math recently, Chris, but that's a lot of money.
That do be a lot of money.
That's a lot on the line. And what's interesting is that the format is also a little different than what you might be used to from the previous SVOs. So whereas the SVO qualifier top eights were single elimination, this one is going to be double elimination. That means if you lose one set, you're still in the tournament and you have the ability to claw your way back all the way to finals if you have the perseverance. So that's really, really cool. And that makes a bunch of really interesting stories that otherwise wouldn't be possible. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that personally.
100%. So it is going to be still 2 decks, no bans, but best of 3, which of course we all know and love from the SBO top 8 so far. And the double elimination format is going to be really interesting just because of the fact that, usually when people tune into these streams, you get to see, the top 8 bracket, but it's, you lose and you're out. Whereas here it's going to be really cool to see, who can actually, make the submarine route and make it out of, losing, going to the lower bracket, and then making it all the way back to grand finals potentially. So it's going to be very interesting to see. There's a lot of regional representation too. And of course our players, have qualified throughout these 4 qualifiers with all kinds of different decks, oftentimes some spicy picks as well. So let's take a look at the bracket and see how it's going to be looking. So as you can see here, we're going to be picking from top to bottom. First is going to go up against the 5th pick, and then the second will go up against the 6th pick, and then the third goes up against the 7th pick, and then the 4th will go up against the 5th pick. So this isn't, 1 to 8 in terms of any standings or anything. This is just the 8 players that will be chosen at random and will be placed into this bracket. So it's going to be very exciting to see, who gets to play against who.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take a look at who the first player is going to be right away. The lovely people over at production actually made a little roulette wheel of all of the players' names here, and it'll select one at random. Me, Chris, and production, we all actually have no idea how this bracket is going to turn out. So you are seeing it for the first time as well as us here. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel, shall we?
Let's get into it. Let's see who is going to be the first name chosen for that first top spot of the top 8 here. Ooh, it's Barrick. All right,
Yes.
Exciting stuff. So Barrick, of course, qualified in the second qualifier with the Modibis and Izudia lineup, was the winner of the second qualifier as well, and they get to be at the top of the bracket. And of course, we also have a little interview video with them to hear a little bit about, their journey in Shadowverse and how they're preparing, I assume, for the grand finals.
Yeah, very unusual.
I am Barrick in the game. I use that for pretty much all my game handles. 25, and I'm from the United States. Yeah, I started Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, I guess the day it came out. Hadn't played Shadowverse 1, the original, at all, but I had heard positive things about it. I'm making a move kind of soon, actually, so I'll probably try to use it to make my place look pretty nice. Furniture is really expensive, I learned, so gotta get something somewhere. I have gone to 2 Magic the Gathering Grand Prix, one back in like 2018 and one a few years later. I might say that I might have a more experience than I would have thought off the cuff going through all that. Although I don't have her actually, probably like Orcus, because I mean it's the leader of the card that I thought like really kept me in the game season 1 because I really like the Puppets deck and the card just seemed to do it all. I guess I have a pretty big one to give to BJ the Brave. He's a card game content creator, the leader of our alliance, the Magistrorum. You mentioned Shadowverse was just launching and told me to check it out, and I did, and now I'm here. And then yeah, I mean all my friends in the Discord, everyone who's been positive, and other people who helped me play with the game who are going to help me test out. I'm counting on you. You know who you are. Big thanks to y'all as well, and hope I can give y'all something to talk about in a few weeks.
All right.
And there we go. That is Barrick. Once again, a very unusual lineup too. Izudia, Forestcraft, and Mode Abyss. Well, maybe the Mode isn't so unusual, but the Izudia certainly is. I wonder what he'll cue in to the Grand Finals, actually, with that
Yeah, right.
unique mindset towards lineups.
In just 2 weeks' time, it's been. This format has also been on for quite a bit as well, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see, what all the players have brought after this sort of like off period of a few weeks without any big tournaments like the SVO. So that has been Barrick and has been now landed into the bracket. So let's take a look at their position here. There you go, number 1. And so now we're going to draw the second spot, who will not be Barrick's opponent, but rather the first player of the second of these matchups. So I'm looking forward to seeing who gets to come in here next. Is going to be another winner or another one of the first place runner-ups of the qualifier so far. Let's take a look. Spin the wheel.
As you can see, this wheel is well programmed. The Barrick name also got removed from it. Honestly, shoutouts to production for this one.
Yeah.
Whoa! All right, it is Cloudy. Now, Cloudy, I believe, got second place all the way back in qualifier 1, right? With
Correct.
mid-range Swordcraft and Aggro Abyss of all things. Very aggressive lineup. Very curious to learn more about this player.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
My name is Cloudy. I'm 27 from Malaysia. Since the release of the Worlds Beyond, and I've been playing every day since. The Aggro Abyss definitely is one of my favorite decks, but unfortunately it doesn't work on this set. So for now, I'm just gonna say Loot Sword. Yeah, because it's kind of simple in a way that you just play cards. Kind of like Aggro Abyss. I know that in SVO 1 there were some other pros in it, so I hope I get to practice against them before the SVO Grand Finals. I'll hit them up basically. Yeah, I've never played on an offline tournament before for Shadowverse. I played on some other games before, but what I'm looking forward to, I guess, meeting the other players. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, when I started playing, I was watching a lot of streamers on Twitch. So I guess shout out Freddy Babes, Lamby Series, and Ordinary Harry. Yeah, these guys, when I first started, I was really new, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just watching these guys to learn about the game. So shout out to them. I feel like my win in SVO1 was, they definitely contributed.
Well, there you go, Cloudy. I will say, so far, the first two picks, people who are new to the Shadowverse IP only with Worlds Beyond. It just goes to show the amount of talent that flooded into the game with the new release. It's really heartening to see.
Right. I mean, people are just coming in from all kinds of different games, and you know, it's really crazy to see that the two players that we've had featured so far basically both started with Worlds Beyond, and it's just goes to show that the new blood definitely taking names in the SVO as well. So of course the old guard got to watch out, but we do have, of course, the bracket now. It's going to be time to pick out the third player, which again will then take their position in the third of the matchups in this bracket. And then after we've picked the fourth, we get to see who actually gets to play against who and how these matchups are going to play out. So 6 remaining names. Let's take a look and see who gets chosen for the third of these matchups.
Spin the wheel. It is Artify. Now that's an interesting one. Qualifier 3 second place with Spell Boost Runecraft and Loot Swordcraft, I believe.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So let's take a look. We have 2 second places back to back. Let's take a look at what Artify had to say going into the SVO Grand Finals.
เดี๋ยวไปก็อธิบายก็ได้ครับแล้วก็อายุ26ครับมาจากประเทศไทยผมเพิ่งมาเล่นตอนที่ Shadowverse เปิดใหม่เลยครับชอบ Portal Craft ครับเพราะว่าผมชอบ Artifact Portal ครับก็รู้สึกดีใจครับที่ได้ผ่านเข้ารอบคุริฟายมาที่แกรนด์ไฟนอลครับไม่มีครับใครก็ได้ครับตอนนี้ก็มีเล่นแรงค์ในเกมแบบทุกวันครับประมาณ 8-10 ชั่วโมงต่อวันครับถ้างานอัพไลน์ผมแข่งมาเยอะมีทั้งถ้าในประเทศจะมีเยอะแต่ถ้าเป็นต่างประเทศจะมีเกาหลีกับที่จีนที่เคยไปครับก็ขอบคุณทุกคนที่เชียร์ครับผมจะทำให้ดีที่สุดครับ
Good stuff.
I absolutely love that. Sawadni. Sorry, my Thai is that's all I know actually. But I just love that, it showcases that SVO, it's a global thing. We got people from all over the place coming into Grand Finals, all flying into Singapore. That's super exciting.
Yeah, it's really good representation overall, and it's nice to see that, how the spread has been so far as well. I'm wondering if we're going to have any, mutual country showdowns throughout the top 8 or not, but we still have one more spot to determine first before we get to see any of the pairings themselves. The fourth of the matchups is now going to be picked. Let's see, there's only 5 names remaining. Who is going to go into that fourth spot?
Spin the wheel. It is going to be... Oh, the suspense is killing me. Yeah! Tell me a little bit about this player, Chris.
All right, so Yan, he says as he flips through his notes, I believe was one of our most recent names. He was the second place again, that lost to Sai actually in the 4th qualifier. And Yan was running a Crest with Spell Boost, and this is one of our new players to Shadowverse. Just basically fresh into the game and already taking names. I mean, not just second place, but also qualifying for the Grand Finals. Let's take a look what Yan had to say going into the Grand Finals.
Yeah, I'm Ian, and I'm originally from Taiwan. Now live in the United States. Since the Worlds Beyond came out, so pretty new. Yeah, I didn't have much experience before that. I do like the control decks. Yeah, I know some people hate that, but playing control decks, you can have many options, right? Sometimes if you play like Echo, you are forced to kind of just play what you have. I don't like that kind of styles. No, I didn't have any experience. It's the first time on the stage playing in front of a lot of people. So definitely very nervous about that. I usually just play in my room without anyone watching. So yeah, hopefully I won't get too nervous, and then I can have a great performance. That's all I hope. I guess I'm new to this community, so I hope that I saw some audience they leave a comments and then say, oh, okay, Ian plays so well. I appreciate all the comments, and it gives me some confidence. Just want to shout out to the community, and then shout out to all the players, the players again, so we can have like this event.
Goodness gracious, Chris. I'm starting to think Shadowverse is a young man's game. All 4 so far unaffiliated players, with Worlds Beyond, they're pretty much brand new. And yet, they qualified to such a big event as SVO Grand Finals. Are we getting too old for this game, Chris?
Yeah, man. It's kind of crazy, but I think we do have a few names in this top 8 bracket that are affiliated with teams, and they're the ones that are going to be running into one of our 4 players that have now been seeded. And now this is where it's time to see how these matchups are going to actually play out, because we seeded so many second places, there is a world where we do actually see rematches in some of these fights. So there is a world where Barrick could actually play against Flying Goatee again, for example, in that first matchup. So it's gonna be pretty exciting to see. There's a world where actually all of our finalists replay all of their finals. It just depends on how the wheel goes. So I'm very excited to see how that actually plays out.
Let's let fate take the reins here and find out ourselves. It is pretty crazy how that's turned out so far. Will that actually happen? All right, it's still spinning, coming to a stop. It's going to be. It is Flying Goatee.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. So Flying Goatee came second in Qualifier 2, losing to Barrick with a lineup of Spell Boost, Runecraft, and Loot Swordcraft. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
My handle is Flying Goatee. I'm currently 26 and I live in Malaysia. Well, I actually only just started with Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, so about 2 months at this point, I guess. This is my first time like participating in any sort of competitive tournament in general, so it's all quite new to me. If I'm being honest, I don't really have much expectations. I'm just quite excited, yeah. Well, right now I'm just trying to learn the other decks that I wasn't playing before this, and trying to see what works and what feels bad in those situations, right? So I can make use of that. But besides that, I've also been watching some of the Japanese tournaments and the Japanese streamers, because I feel like there's a lot I can learn from their gameplay right now. And also being quite new to the game, I'm not as familiar with maybe certain play patterns. So yeah. Shout out to my family. They were quite supportive with all of this. They were watching in the room next door, cheering me on. It was quite funny to see, because there was like a stream delay, right? And I'd go in between and they would be like, oh, what happens? Did you win? Did you lose? And I'll just be quiet and watch with them a bit. So that was a lot of fun.
A Barrick Flying Goatee rerun, if you can believe it. How the turns table is all I can say about that.
That's crazy. I can't believe we're actually already hitting a rematch in the first top 8. If somehow all of these end up being rematches, that's kind of crazy. We swear this was all random. Like nobody knows how this bracket is gonna look at the beginning of this show. But let's take a look. We still have 3 names remaining to see. So for Cloudy, the rematch here would be Tempest. So Sai, Tempest, and Alejandro. Sai and Tempest, of course, are 2 affiliated players. Let's see which of these 3 gets locked in to the next of the top 8 spots.
Surely it's not Tempest, right? Surely. Whoa!
Oh my god! Another rematch, dude.
Goodness gracious. And Tempest, I believe, was on a very spicy lineup. The mid-range Abysscraft, and then also the ramp Dragoncraft that he played to spite me. He even said as much on Twitter, which I thought was so funny. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
I'm DB Tempest from Singapore, and I'm 29 this year. I've been playing Shadowverse since I think 2018, which is around Chronogenesis. Not really. I'm just looking forward to play against everyone because I think they're all relatively new faces for me. So yeah, quite excited to play them. This is a very easy one. So my favorite leader is actually Filene. I've actually liked it since BBNE in Original Classic. Firstly because I love the art. Secondly, she's voiced by my favorite voice actress, which is Sarah Mamania. So I basically just started preparing after the balance. So I took a short break. So with the new changes, I'm just testing out new decks, logging a few ladder games every day after work. And during work, I'm just watching streams, reading some on Twitter and pro players plus notable streamers, strategies and how they mulligan and things like that as well. For the prize money, I guess I plan to treat myself to a nice holiday next year to Japan to watch a concert if I can get the tickets. I guess in general, shout out to everyone actually competing in SVO for the past few months, especially my teammates and of course one good friend actually almost made it last week actually in a recent qualifier, Arita. But yeah, looking forward to seeing in further competition as well. Hopefully as FZQ or WGP. Yep.
Damn, that's crazy. Tempest, you know, he's a familiar name. I'm pretty sure he was in your vlog, like way back in one of the last tournaments, right?
That's right. He actually did try his hand at playing at Rage in Japan before. He was in my vlog that time. Really interesting to see Tempest and Cloudy rematch in that spot. I'm really curious about this because actually I believe they're the only pairing here that qualified in the qualifier series at set 2. And we're currently in set 3. So the way that they prepare for, you know, this new meta, we've never seen them perform in this meta before. You know, let's see what their prep is like and what they end up bringing. It's super exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. But what's also exciting is the fact that these last 2 spots, we have a 50-50 chance of seeing a rematch in every single match in this grand finals, which is just insane. I didn't expect things to go that way. I thought we'd see like winners against winners, second place against second place, but no, it's just rematch heaven. So take a look. This one is going to be Sai or Alejandro. Let's see. It's a 50-50 chance of triggering a full-on rematch.
It is not a rematch. Ooh. The first non-rematch, Sai versus Artify is what's going to end up happening here. That's pretty exciting. All right, so we get a good mix of rematches and non-rematches, I guess. Sai qualified with Crest Haven and Spell Boost Runecraft. Let's take a look at what Sai had to say.
My handle is currently EMT Sai, and I'm from the United States, California. Definitely like a few years. I remember watching like the OG SV Open streams and being like, I feel like I could play better, but I never decided to join it back then. So this is what, when World Beyond came out, I was like, this is probably my chance, and I was able to prove that. It was definitely, I didn't expect to make it that far, but I guess I did get decently lucky that day, and also played well as good as I hoped to play, I guess. I prefer like a more control-based meta because typically when it's like a more aggro-based meta, we're just like kind of mindlessly slamming down units and just hitting face and then just calling it a day. So I kind of prefer this meta where there's a bit more calculation so that it's not entirely based off draw, although there is definitely still a lot of key cards in this current format where if you don't draw, you kind of have a disadvantage where you might even lose. So I did make 2 top 8s in this set. So in the first top 8, I lost to Flying Coatee, so I want to get my revenge, of course. And then also in the third qualifier, I made it to the last round of the play-ins where I lost to Artify, who also came in second in the third qualifier. So it's like 2 opponents I could get my revenge on in the finals.
Well, Sai, it looks like you're going to get your wish because your first opponent is going to be Artify. Let's take a look at that bracket real quick.
Yeah, lots of names dropped. Lots of potential rematches too.
Yeah, so it's so crazy. If Sai wants to fight against Flying Goatee again, it'll have to be in finals, I guess. Or if they both get dropped to Lord Rocket. Right, yeah. Wow, that is an exciting little lineup there. Of course, our last player is going to be Alejandro. And, we're not going to do the whole wheel spinning thing again. But of course, we're still going to hear from the player. Let's take a look at what Alejandro had to say leading into Grand Finals.
My handle is Alejandro. I am a 20-year-old guy from Romania. Since 2020, this is the Rival expansion in the original Shadowverse. It was pretty stressful all the way through, and then the best of 3 matches were not quite as stressful, but it was still quite a lot of pressure. But once I made it into the top 8, I was honestly quite happy with myself, because I knew that I was still going to be on the main channel. I was still going to make some money out of it. So I kind of already won in that sense. From the default leaders, I like Galan, because his lines are very quotable, always talking about Kung Fu. And Kerberos, because she's a fan favorite, and I'm also a fan. The current prize money, or the one that I'm going to win next month, I'll spend on myself, spend on my family, probably make a few frivolous purchases immediately after, but mostly just improve my general quality of life. Honestly, I'm not very aware of any of them off the top of my head. I was kind of looking at the SVO, the pro scene before, but of these, let's just say new generation, I'm just as new as everybody else.
Stay tuned right on this very channel, Shadowverse Game on YouTube, October 25th, October 26th. You do not want to miss it. Once again, there's a $10,000 prize pool, and first and second place make it to the World Grand Prix in Japan in December, where there's an even bigger prize pool waiting for them. So super exciting. And especially since this is after the balance patch too, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see. And then, so 2 weeks time, 25th and 26th, 2 days tournament, double elimination. That's going to be a very hype part of it too. And then, of course, in terms of time zones, I mean, it's taking place in Singapore, so it is going to be, a bit more, I guess, Asia-friendly time zone. But that also means that the start of it will be easy to watch for folks in the sort of Americas, and then the end of it will be easier to watch for, or the latter half of each day will be easier to watch for folks over in Europe and Africa. And then if you're in Asia, then the whole thing is easy to watch because it's going to be throughout the entire weekend. So it's going to be us for the entirety of it. So make sure you don't miss it. You're definitely going to want to tune in and see which of the 2 players, or the 2 players of our 8 players, are going to go on to the World Grand Prix and represent the region together with 2 other spots. Don't forget that we had the kickoff tournament that determined one of our spots. We had a few spots picked already last year, actually, in the old Shadowverse. And on top of that, there is actually one more chance. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, well, I mean, these qualifications already ended, there's no spots for me anymore, I might as well tune out. You shouldn't, because there's actually a last chance qualifier happening in November as well. Make sure to check out all the information on svo.gg, where you'll find all the information for signups, also all the information about the players they'll be playing as well. So make sure that you keep up to date and look forward to the show in 2 weeks' time.
That's right, Chris. Again, that is svo.gg for all the information, both on the players as well as the upcoming LCQ. You still have a chance to be able to make it to World Grand Prix. But, final reminder, of course, it's live streamed right here on the Shadowverse Game channel on YouTube, October 25th, October 26th, the SVO Grand Finals. Don't miss it. But, that's all for us on this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, production. That wheel was slick. I see you. Putting in that work. So, guys, look forward to it in just a few weeks. We'll see you there. Peace.
Bye-bye.